Here are 3 reasons you haven't spiritually awakened. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome to another Coffee Time with John. Sitting here this morning drinking my coffee. Going to make a second mug this morning because it's one of those mornings. Well, 3 reasons you haven't spiritually awakened. People have asked me all the time about spiritual awakening and why they haven't awakened. And it's very interesting. There's 3 reasons that I can give as to why someone hasn't spiritually awakened. The first of the 3 is this. You're not being fully present. Not being fully present. Let's talk about that for a second. So when you're not fully present, it's because you're locked into past traumas, or you're too invested in the future outcome, as opposed to being very present and creating. And what's interesting is to be fully present means to be aware, to feel that you're in this moment. And oftentimes people will sit in this moment and they'll think about all the terrible things that have happened or all the hardships they've lived through. And they'll say that's the way the world is. And so they're not really fully present. They're actually living their experience in their past. Or they'll sit here in this moment and say, I wish things were this way. I want to do that. I'm trying to do that. And none of those are present. All of those are future tense. They're all something ahead of you, something far, far ahead of you. So you've got to get very present and be right here in this moment. Because to be awakened, there's only one moment you can be awakened. It's the present moment. It's the only moment that you're conscious. That's the only moment you have thought, word, and deed. So people are not very present. And that, because of that, they're not having the light shows experiences that they're all looking for. To actively be in the present and actively create the experience of awakening or the experience of stepping into the next level of awareness. And it is about awareness, right? It's about stepping into that level of awareness. And the way you step into that level of awareness is to be actively creating. I had my spontaneous Kundalini rising, not because I was focused on who I was and where I came from or the fact that I want to get there in the future, but it was that I am doing this. I am is God's name. It's not I was or I will be. It's I am. To be awakened, to connect the source, to connect to God, to connect to spirit, you have to be in the present. Because if you're not in the present, then you can't have that awakening, because you can't awaken in the future or the past. The second one is believing in yourself. Our past experiences give us beliefs about ourselves. Our religions tell us that we're wretches and unworthy. And so we have this self-doubt, self-worth issues that hold us back, because the belief itself says, I am not awakening. I am not awakened, or I can't awaken. I don't have the ability to awake because of the fact that I am not worthy, or I am unable. Some people will tell you that, your life experiences, I've never been able to achieve anything. Well, I have never been able to achieve anything. It's not because you haven't achieved things. It's because you had the belief you couldn't achieve things and didn't achieve them. But it all comes from your belief, and that belief came from somewhere. Who told you you couldn't? Who told you weren't good at things? My father, it's a very interesting story. My father told me I wasn't mechanically inclined when I was a kid, and I believed him. When I got later on in life, I was like building everything. I as I told a story in another video, I did engine, transmission, and steering column swaps in a van. I'm right now in my garage. I have a motorcycle that I've torn down and I'm building up, and I have an old military trailer I'm converting into a camper, and I have all the tools that you could possibly need. I weld, I grind, I do all the tools. I do a lathe, use my lathe. I have a milling machine. I actually am very mechanically inclined, but that was a choice. I could have believed my father for the rest of my life and just never done anything with it, or I could realize that I can do anything. And believing in yourself is the key. And when that van, when I swapped the engine, transmission, and steering column, I knew I could do it. I knew I could do anything. But it wasn't about having the skill because I had never done it before. And I never had the training to do it. But prior to that, doing all that work on those vans, I had changed spark plugs. I wasn't sure I gapped them correctly. And I tried to do my brakes. And my brother-in-law had to finish my brakes for me. So when I look at this not believing in yourself, there's always a root cause. You don't believe in yourself because someone told you couldn't, or at some point in your life you failed at something you've chosen to believe that you can't. But you are unlimited and you can do anything. So start believing that you can. Start believing that you are. Start to believing that it's happening. And the second you get very present and you put your present moment belief in yourself, then what happens is it puts you 2/3 of the way to achieving. Here's the last of the three. Not believing you're already one with God. See, to be awakened, spiritually awakened, is to raise your level of awareness. And it's your level of awareness that gives you the awakening experience. It's the level of awareness of realizing that you are one with God, that you are already in a state of awakening to the awareness of your divinity, awakening to the awareness that God and you are one. God, universe, consciousness, whatever you call it. God's just the easy word because it's one syllable, right? Right? So you and the source, you and God are one. And when you come to the space where you believe it, and you start to realize that all this illusion around you is just a play of energy. According to Einstein, it's all just atomic energy. And all you really are is a bubble of consciousness within that atomic energy. All you are is a consciousness. And everything that you're looking and experiencing around you is God's image. But God's image is comprised of your belief. So your belief is pressed upon God's image. And God shows it to you. In the beginning is the Word. And the Word was with God. And the Word was God. Your words, your thoughts, your beliefs go out to God. And God creates it in the image around you. God is the paint, the paintbrush and the canvas, and you are the inspiration. You've probably heard me say that before. You are the inspiration, and you are the actual implementation of the vision. You create it with the tools that God gives you, the matter around you. God says, "Here's all your supply. What are you going to demand? Here's all your supply. What are you going to create?" And that only happens in the present moment. And that only happens when you believe in yourself and you believe that you are directly connected to God. And it only happens if you believe that you and God are already one and co-creating. That's when you come to a spiritual awakening, is the realization that you and God are one, that you believe in yourself and you're present. That's where your awareness can happen. Because there's only one moment you can be aware, and it's the present moment. There's only one moment you can actually believe in yourself, and it's the present moment. And there's only one moment you can know you're already one with God, and it's the present moment. So 3 reasons you haven't spiritually awakened: you're not being present, you're not believing in yourself, and you're not believing you're already one with God. And if you can just take those things and come to the present and believe, you'll be surprised at the things that will happen in your life. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.